Yo, good morning. Welcome back to Project Zero. This is Reshev here with another reaction video, and things are going good in terms of catching up to the marathon. This would be marathon episode 27, and we've done so much behind the scenes stuff that we've covered in vlogs and so on and so forth. Right now, we're on track to catching up with Studio Gek, as well as a bunch of other reactions there's anime stuff like Nicholas Light, but there's also other interesting stuff like movie clips and music from Polyphia, a recommendation from one of my siblings. He's always got great taste. And then also right now to a game. So it's different. We did a lot of heavy stuff prior to this video, so it's like Reddit, mental health, technology, software, lots of stuff, OBS backup. So let's just cover some more lighthearted stuff now. So I'm going to try to switch scenes. It's a little bit of experimentation here. I think this is a display right now. I'm going to use a display capture instead of a browser capture because we're going to be hopping between various tabs on that browser, and I'm afraid, well, I don't know if I'm afraid, but I don't want it to cause more trouble when it comes to the scene management. So let's go quickly hop over display. We're going to go down and whoops, we don't need that. So we're going to hop over to gaming for the first time in a while. Well, I don't think we've ever covered any reactions to gaming content, but this one is specifically from, I guess you could say up and coming, I believe, streamer on a very retro old school game, which makes a lot of sense. If you look at my channel, I do a lot of stuff that's, yes, behind the scenes, but a lot of it is retro stuff. It's like old school type stuff. And the irony of me saying old school unintendedly, because this is about old school RuneScape. So pun was not intended, but it's well fit. So we can subscribe to Hobbies RS, 2.72k subscribers and growing. But needless to say, he's running a tournament, and he's been doing a lot of tournaments actually. And this one here is focused mostly on, I believe, a new update. It's been a while since I ever kept up with RuneScape, but apparently we're talking about end game content focused on some kind of Egyptian raid thing. So we're thinking about the mascot. So for those of you who actually played RuneScape in the past, you would know a general idea of what this might be from some memories that you're going to stitch together or to dig back up. Anyways, or maybe you're still involved into the game right now. So anyways, this is a reaction to, I guess, this trailer here. This is RuneScape's next biggest competition. And afterwards, we're going to do some more general small time reaction to not videos, but those snippets on Twitter. I noticed they would pop up in my feed because I don't really play anymore because I don't have the time for that, but I want to get back into it sparingly. So we're going to be doing that, and there will be some tweets after this. I thought that were pretty funny. People were like ranking capes and stuff. I thought that was pretty interesting. Well, let's take a look at this trailer here. So maybe it's pretty goated. All right. So I'm going to try to full screen this. I recognize that it's probably not showing in a very large way. It's not enlarged in the display because we're using a very small display on the browser overlay. So without further ado, time to mute Spotify. And let's get into it, man. All right, let's go, boys. So Hemis and D&G. Yo, the first thing you do when you start this trailer, there's a heavy bass drop. That's so sick. We're talking RuneScape here, guys. Shit. Stop. Before let's go further, first let's just say up to this point, it's like the first 30 seconds right now. The music is phenomenal. Wow. It's perfect. The bass drop. Oh my god. But then I also want to point out some visuals here because the way it accelerates in here, I have to say, You know, this stuff, yeah, sure, these things are screenshots over here. They can be captured with what you call an item in-game called the Oculus Rift. I think, no, sorry, not the Oculus Rift. It's something like that. The Oculus Rift is actually a VR kind of thing. But there's like this little ball, this orb, you know, right? This orb inside the game you can hold, and then it acts as a camera that you can move around the environment inside the game. So you could capture this, my point is, inside the game, but there are some scenes here which I believe have to be done in other ways. So this may be an in-game scene. Lusty Ball. That's an in-game scene. So is this. Sick transition. Gotta call that out. Yo, that dive. This is our World Series. Alright, I got this wrong. So first of all, allow me to correct myself. It's not got anything to do with the mascot and the Egyptian type content. This one's actually more got to do with fight caves. Tizar, okay. Here to help. Okay, let's go back for a second. Let's read it out. Compliant boosters, combat achievements, mega scales, PvP protection, leeches, and more. Understand that I have very limited knowledge of this stuff. Not only is this endgame content, so it's stuff that I just don't know very much about because I've never actually reached that far. Not even close. I'm a free player for life. But I finished most of the free player content, obviously. And I always dabble. I'm not afraid. I love reading members' content. I just knew that I didn't want to get invested as a member. I'm just not that ambitious of a person. It goes up to my upbringing. I tried to be quite minimalist when I approached the game, so I knew that I didn't want to go members. But that doesn't take away from how much I loved reading about RuneScape member content lore and stuff like that and equipment. So it's super interesting. But I just want to say, of course, I don't really know what mega scales are, right? Okay. Event begins Sunday, March 19th, 10 a.m. EST, 2 p.m. So this is obviously in the past tense now. I wish I could react to this sooner, but I mean, it's not like it's going to bring anything. Infernal speeds. Okay. Submissions open. Let's go back again. I felt like there was something here, a scene here, that made me stop and think, I don't believe that can be made inside the game. Like, you can't capture that. It has to be used like some sort of like 3D modeling software like Blender, I assume. What is it? Is this really? Is this from Blender? Is that really from inside the game or? Wait, just fades. I recognize some of these transitions. Fade out. Yo, props to the editor for making all the scenes here and the transitions and the effects sync up so well with the music. That's fucking amazing. Just gotta say that. 4 billion GB prizes. It's Mauritania. Chinchompas, like whatever, and that's a sick transition right there. I can recognize only a few pieces of equipment here. I know a lot of this is like new stuff. No pillar, run a speed run. So all those kind of like titles there are basically of the competitors. Basically, Hemis is here picking out some really top players and their accomplishments and broadcasting what they've done, so that we can see, who is really in the fray here, who's being pitted against each other. Most improved award, fight days, Sarputs, Tinker Garage. I don't know these names, but I'm assuming these are all speedrunners who are doing really well. It's our World Series. prize pool funded by D&G's boosting. Okay, cool stuff. Interesting, right? Really, again, I don't really have too much to comment in terms of my personal accounts. Like, I can't say too much about this equipment because I haven't actually played, but I know that it's so nostalgic for me, and yet at the same time, it's also on the side of my head. I want to get back to it. To be honest, I still have the client on my laptop. I have not deleted it. It's still here. I just haven't logged in. I haven't even opened the client in years. So because of so much stuff that's been getting in the way of me, like, no, just don't. Anyways, let's check out the description here. They're a great boosting service. By the way, 7K views. Oh, come on, guys. You can do better than that. For a trail like that, they're a great boosting service that follows all of Jack's rules. You can get your upgrades to comfort, city carries, KC boosting, torso, kit leeches, PvP protection. They do it all. You won't have any worries. Biggest prize pool and the most dangerous content. The World Series takes RuneScape's hardest piece of content and turns it upside down, gathering the world's best players to tackle the hardest challenges. Do you have what it takes to speedrun this content? Prizes are given to those who can improve the most during this month, so go check out discord.gg/infernal. Every time I see GG, I think a good game. Infernal Run and Infernal Speeds for more info. This trail can only be made with the help of a few artists. They're talented and you should seriously check them out. So credits here deleted. The name deleted, okay. YouTube at Karichi something, Croft, Jimmy, Twitch, Twitter, and if you want to learn to speedrun Inferno, he has a very nice comprehensive guide. I will not be reacting to that guide because while it's amazing and you should totally check it out, it's super comprehensive, super detailed, takes like, it's like a full hour, and it's broken into very nicely into chapters that you can dive into one by one at a time. Sadly, I don't really know enough about. Again, I have never raided before, right? So, but if you're a high-end, old-school RuneScape OSRS player and you want to check out the content, please just go and see for yourself. And I will link, of course, this video trailer into the description, so you can check that out. Do you like this trailer? Check some other ones that he made. Twitch, Discord, Twitter, blah, blah, and so follow him. Music. So this is great. I Am the Shield. Magic Music Studio. Song is that's hilarious. Look at the title. That the song is literally called Aggressive Intense Trailer by Eros Young. Licenses Elite Alliance Music. Epic Elite. That's the standout thing I have to say. Okay, great music choice. So let's take a look at some of the content here. I mean, some of the comments here. We always do that every time we do a reaction video. We go dive into the comments. So amazing work. By far the best trailer you've made yet. It was a pleasure working with you. So deleted work. Worked with Emmy's King Share with King Animations with King Passion. Give him 3 crowns. Whoever put that cinematic together is amazing. Can't wait to see this. Definitely collaborative work between the Blender artists and myself and real talented guys out there. See a real difference in cinematics between that trailer and the previous ones. That's very the cinematography was amazing. Okay, production. And he was saying this is fine. Maybe this is my motivation to finally learn Inferno. I'm hyped up. You can see he's actually quite interactive with the people who comment. I'm quite hyped up into the Inferno. Amazing work. So well made. Excited for this pleasure. Great content and incredibly done well. And then there's a bunch more contents. A bunch of more comments below. So animations are godlike, insanely hype. Production on this is going to be wild. Okay. And full information. So, and there's quite a few more comments. I really thought that, this is not the first time that I watched this, right? I had these things all listed out. All these tabs at the top here are all pieces of content that I had sort of watched partway through, and then at least some of them. No, actually, to be fair, some of these I actually haven't watched. But this is something that was only a minute long, so I went through the whole thing. The first time I went through this, I was like, wow, there's like, because usually when I take a look at the trailers here, they're done with scenes that are captured with the Oculus. I think Oculus Orb. It's a play on Oculus Rift, I believe. But this one doesn't seem like it's so. It's probably it's a mishmash of taking edited scene clips and scenes from inside the game, and then infusing it with some help from Blender artists and sculptors, which is what was mentioned in the comments here. So Anyways, that's a fantastic trailer. I hope that this blows up a little more than this, right? I see 7.3K, that's super underrated, at least in my opinion. That's fucking amazing, and it's only getting 7K views. So I really wish this would blow up a little bit more. But it's gonna be hard to do that because I noticed that this was like what? The tournament was a week ago, so even so, the trailer itself is amazing by itself. So I'd like to see this blow up a bit more. Anyways, that's it. So let's hop over to some RuneScape memes now. So that was the reaction to the video that I had relating to RuneScape. This entire reaction video is entirely reaction to RuneScape themed content. And so we're hopping over to Twitter right now. And let's see what we got here. What's loading over here? I hope it doesn't load. Okay. So some context, right? So why is this here? I don't usually I don't react to Twitter shit, all right? The reason why this popped up and then I felt like, oh, it's funny, let's respond to it. It's because so obviously I was video editing, right? And just browsing, but I don't actually pay attention very much to what happens on Twitter except to use it as a platform. So when I, punch out, upload a video or schedule a tweet if I don't want it immediately to be uploaded or immediately for the tweet to be released, I can schedule it. Either way, what ends up happening is it brings me to the home feed. And sometimes because I have Andrew Gower, basically I follow Andrew Gower in my Twitter account. I've been following him for, 15, 20 years now. I can't believe it's been that long. It's crazy. And I guess the algorithm picks up on that and it shows up. So what happened here is let's take a look here at some of these memes that pop up in the home feed. And then I would realize some of these were just too funny for me to not keep and talk about inside this reaction. I said, if we're going to do a reaction to a very short trailer about RuneScape, why don't we cover RuneScape content that I thought was just really funny along the side. So I know that right now I'm feeling a little bit congested. It's probably because I haven't taken a piss. It's also because I've been up all night doing like reactions, and I did some more serious content earlier today. So I apologize, my bad if I'm reading some of this stuff. It's pretty funny shit, it's hilarious, but I'm maybe not laughing as much as I probably should be. But let's take a look here. So this is from TastyLife. I'm pretty sure maybe he's affiliated with Hemis. So things that men shouldn't be doing. 1, 2, 3, 1. Drinking boba tea. That's a controversial piece of shit right there. Boba tea's for everybody. 2, sitting in the booth at restaurants. What should you be doing? Standing. And 3, wrapping presents correctly. Okay. And so this is all just like for shits and giggles, right? What are some other things that men should never do? And that's a hilarious one. So there's some, lots of banter going on. That's one thing you can always promise yourself to have a good time with. If you want banter and you want shits and giggles, just hop by any sort of RuneScape like event, RuneScape server, RuneScape guild, RuneScape chat, and it's always just the boys out there being quite lavish with their comedy. So 45.2K views. Sucky Baby about Cinnabons at the mall after a shopping spree. Taste we had to give. We agreed to give the private. My man doesn't like the instricts. Blah. Okay, provide those things for women only. Breathe. Men shouldn't iron their clothes, wash their hair, date a woman. All 3 of these things are known to be top T. And it seems like he has a lot of comments here, so yeah, I think this guy's probably a top creator right here in terms of RuneScape. Again, I don't keep up with them, but maybe I wanted to at one point, I think.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've kind of moved on, I guess. Correct, those things are for women only. Okay. It's just jokes, alright? So don't take it too personally. Closing the drawer with your hip. What the fuck? Ouch. Closing the drawer with your wearing skinny jeans. I agree on that. Okay. That's something I never understood, wearing skinny jeans. Okay. Yo, look, see, they got me laughing at one. That one surprised me. You got me good. All right, sleep review. This is not RuneScape related. Move back over here. Oh, I refreshed. No, good, we're fine. So this tweet is from Foxc RS. I've heard of him before. I don't know who he is or what he does. I just heard of it. But apparently he does graphics. And I remember back in the day, like 10 years ago, I was on DeviantArt and I used to follow, what's it called? The post bag from the hedge. I was that nerd guy, right? I loved to just read the updates from RuneScape. I was so invested, and I would basically um, love to check out the art, the fan art specifically every month, because it was kind of like my escape, from the world. But it was really nice, and I ended up going to the forums and seeing a lot of great, fantastic artwork. Now, eventually, with the advent of OSRS or old school RuneScape and the ability for you to pull updates, so the developers, the devs at RuneScape are great, especially at old school, like my personal opinion. They allow the players to have a say in what kind of content is released, and they get to influence the content that's released. So in this case, we had a lot of graphics artists who are players who were professional graphics artists, but also a lot of them were just amateurists, and they threw in their ideas. They gave it to the devs. The devs worked on it and polished it, and then they went back and they went through with this back and forth conversation. That's something that traditionally at the very beginning, RuneScape devs were not very good at. I would say the mods, we call them. This was the early years, right? The early years of like 2006 when I was playing all the way through to 2010. They were not very good at that. But over the years, especially with the advent of this old school version of RuneScape that they released, which is basically a retro version of their game, they released a polling service, and the mods there, which was once a very small team of just 3 or 4 mods, like Mod Ash was a key one. We used to call him God Ash. So there's a lot of memes here being flown around. There's like 2013, 2014. There's major update players we're not happy with if you know the EOC, but if you know, you know. If you don't, it's cool. But basically, God Ash and like 3 other old school mods like Mod Raven, and then eventually it would build up, and eventually old school became so great. I feel like it overtook the main game because the main game became filled with so much of those modern microtransaction-ish kind of stuff that just really off-put a lot of the off-put a lot of the player base. So there was the poll, and then the team of mods grew from 3 to 5 to 10, and now there's like 20 or something like that. I have not been keeping up. I used to try to memorize all the names. But yeah, the players got a lot of say in terms of the content that was being produced there. And the mods in old school RuneScape are very much in touch. They try their best. At least relative to the main game, at least relative to the past. Traditionally speaking, RuneScape mods were not really that well in touch with their players until like after 2010. And of course, it's a very old game, right? That's why I say it took quite some time for them to get in touch. And so this is quite real. I know that's a lot of context. I probably spoke more than I should have because, again, you can tell it's kind of ignited a spark inside me again. I miss the game. I do. So here's Sanguinesti Staff Ornament Kit concept by, what's it? Foxc. And I think it's really neat, right? So this is just another submission that didn't go through. It kind of fell through. Sanguinesti Staff, the original inside the game, and then here's his model by Foxc RS, and you can see there's these green hanging venom from the fox staring down. I like it. I think it looks better, honestly, because the wings are down. They're showing a little bit of viciousness in the bat. You can see there's basically no comparison when it comes to the resolution between Foxy's and the actual game release item. Now, I don't know how difficult it would be to implement this because obviously inside the game, right, there are certain constraints, a lot of constraints that the actual developers, the game developers the GFX graphics developers would have to keep in mind. Not sure if this uses too many polygons or whatever, but so on and so forth. So let's check out some other stuff from Foxy. So current rapier and a proposed rapier. Rapier is one of those weapons that I believe you would obtain it from some sort of a wilderness kill. Okay, I think so. I'm not sure. I know that in the main game that you obtain this actually through a skill called dungeoneering, but I don't know how you get this in old school. Sanguine Ornament Kit Recolor, Sanguine Grazi Rapier. So again, looks sick. Look at the handle here, right? It reminds me of a dragon weapon. It reminds me of something, or maybe an abyssal whip, right? Again, if you guys have played RuneScape, you'll know what the hell I'm talking about. If you don't, you don't. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. It's cool. It's all right. But this is just opening this one over here. This weapon in particular just brought back so many memories. On the right-hand side here, we have, wow, an Assembler Max Cape color. This is interesting. Assembler Max Cape. So I've checked out the images here just once before, and I said to myself, what the hell is an Assembler? Is that the new skill? Because I know that old school RuneScape, I'm not sure, like maybe months or a year back, they were polling something having to do with a new skill. And this might be it. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I have not been playing Spotify right now. Okay. You just been hearing me talk without with any background music. But yeah, current assembler Maxcape. I'm like, what the hell is that? Maxcape. Proposed redesign by Foxc RS. The current one is golden with a black trim. And he's proposing it's a green. A dark green with a gold trim instead. So reversing it. And he believes that, I think his main idea here is that he's showing the full outfit of the Mazori armor, and I don't know what the Mazori armor is. I'm assuming it's something, again, one of those like high-end endgame tier equipment. And clearly he's trying to say that, you know, it's better suited in terms of the appearance. It looks so much better when you have a green base here that matches along with the gloves, the boots, and the pants here. And then you do a gold trim instead of having gold as the base, right? So that's great. And you can see here 13 comments, 10 retweets, 165. I feel like it deserves more likes than that, to be honest. Cox, challenge mode Maxcape. I don't know what Cox is. So I know it's a raid. It's a raid, a type of raid. There are many raids now, I guess, but I don't know what specifically it is. And I think that kind of covers it for this tweet here. Let's take a look at the comments here. Obviously, this one's not as comedic as the one from Tasty. Tasty was kind of doing something. I don't know Tasty either, by the way. This is all just me. These tweets just pop up, and I just want to cover it also. Foxc, are these made in 2D or 3D renders? He uses Procreate and Photoshop. Great work. Cheers. Bro, you make the coolest designs. Shame that a lot of these awesome designs sadly don't get into the game, but super sick. Yeah, this reminds me, like I said, I used to keep up with some artists from the Post Bag in the Hedge from RuneScape art, and some of them had DeviantArt accounts, so I would pop over, and that was exactly how I created my first DeviantArt account, which is really rather inactive right now. I have linked it to my current DeviantArt account, which is at deviantart.com/on_row. But the point is, it's in the link description, but the point is, I would go to DeviantArt at the time and just really admire a lot of the art that people put out, whether it's of the landscapes or of certain gods of the game or certain equipment. Yeah, and actually, I actually communicated with some of these artists and thought it was really neat. Of course, this goes back like 10 years, if not more. And, you know, a lot of us are, well, we're all adults now. So it's like, it's a time past. The capes look nuts, well done. Looks so much better than the one we have right now. Zarp staff go hard. Okay, so let's close off this tweet as well. That's 3 tabs down. We have the Hemi's trailer down, we have the Tasty tweet down, and we have the Foxc RS down. 2 more tabs. These 2, I have to say, are not related to RuneScape, but they're Twitter tabs that I thought were interesting. So I figured I would cover it anyways. And this is how we're going to basically end off this video reaction. So this is from Sleep Review. So we're going into academic stuff again. It's a throwback. I followed this account from Sleep Review, I think about 7 years ago, on sleep, right? At the time, I was suffering quite a bit from sleep because I re-entered a household there where there was sort of, let's just say, abusive relations. Anyways, I just want to kick that to the side for a moment here. And so I was learning about all these intricacies about sleep because I remember that during my 2nd and 3rd year courses, we talked a lot about the importance of sleep. And at the time, I was also interested in a lot of self-improvement. Sleep is one of those really critical things. And there were papers published at the time trying to link, Alzheimer's and dementia. Now, of course, it's obvious, right? We all know that Alzheimer's disease and dementia are intricately linked to how much sleep you get, how well you take care of your rest, and getting that REM sleep in with the, let me recall, the beta plaques, no, the amyloid plaques, and the tau proteins. So it's involved in I believe the dendritic cleanup, or the Golgi cells that clean up all the matter that builds up across the 18 hours that you spend awake. 18 hours is already too much, right? You should get about 7 hours of sleep, but it varies for each individual. Needless to say, that's how I joined Sleep Review, and I added to my Twitter account. So again, it's a real throwback. It's not as far back as RuneScape, obviously. It's like just 7 years ago. How should cardiovascular risk be discussed when determining the management plan for sleep disorders? So sodium intake and other modifiable cardiovascular risk factors. It really just brings out the academic in me back in the day. So of course I'm not I'm not there anymore. I do have a degree, but in biomedical science, but it's not like I'm putting that to use clearly right now. Scree Roy, Barbara Hutchison, and MD, PhD, FACC. I have no idea what FACC stands for. And that's that. So I'm the only one who gave it a like. I believe, nope, American Academy. Oh, I didn't like it. Oh, maybe we should. 274 views. Okay. So this popped up and I thought it was interesting and I wanted to mention it as well. So sleep medicine news for clinicians and consumers covering sleep apnea and insomnia. And I have to say, you know, I was quite the academic when I was playing RuneScape. So while I was playing RuneScape, you know, this was a game, an MMORPG that I played while I was attending post-secondary education, even in university, but also obviously when I was in high school and in middle school. And of course, it was my friends in elementary school way back in 2005 who kept trying to push me to play, and I resisted for 2-3 years. By the time they quit was when I joined. So it's still, the academic theme here still has some, you know, indirect connection to RuneScape. Again, the main theme here of this video really is RuneScape.
Be honest, my man.
Okay.
I think it's a cry for help. What do you think,
Yo,
Sneakos?
close this. All right, 2 last tweets. What is this? Someone here says I want to. Oh, okay. Junji Ito. I don't know why this showed up. Junji Ito is about an anime. Junji Ito is a horror anime. Anyways, below these are the 2 tweets I want to see. So I want to mention from Elon Musk. Nova, how's your day? I thought this gave me a real kick in the morning. It wasn't even the morning. It was like dawn, right? It's like 4 a.m. in the morning. But he, I think I should save that image. Basically, it's just a dumpster fire, right?